Colin Cowherd delivers definitive take on Jared Goff's Hall of Fame chances. Jared Goff has quietly but resolutely carved out a place for himself as perhaps the most successful quarterback in Detroit Lions history. Under his leadership, the team clinched division titles they hadn't seen since the Barry Sanders days. In 2024, the Lions even tied or set a franchise record with a stellar 15-2 record. For veteran sportscaster Colin Cowherd, that body of work makes Goff a strong candidate to eventually don the coveted gold jacket, the symbol of Hall of Fame induction. On Wednesday's episode of The Herd on FS1, Cowherd didn't hedge. He laid out what he sees as Goff's trajectory and the challenges he'll need to clear to become a first-ballot Hall of Famer. While he acknowledged that Goff may not have the flash or the gaudy passing totals of some of his peers, Cowherd believes Goff's resume now gives him a legitimate shot. Jared Goff has earned this, Cowherd said, referring to the Lions' recent transformations. He pointed out that Goff inherited a shaky roster, took the team's fortunes in hand, and turned them into division dominators. Cowherd's verdict: if Goff continues on this path, the Hall of Fame is within reach. But Cowherd was also careful to note that Goff has obstacles to overcome. He must continue producing consistently at a high level and also accumulate the kinds of individual honors that Hall of Fame voters often look for: Pro Bowls, All-Pro nods, and perhaps most importantly, an MVP award. Indeed, before Goff can even begin to make arguments for Cooperstown, he'll need to etch his name among the game's best in a given season. That typically means earning one of the major individual accolades, the most obvious being the MVP award. It's a challenging benchmark, and Goff has yet to cross it, but Cowherd believes that under the right conditions, he very well could. Goff's teammates, too, have weighed in. Wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of Detroit's brightest playmakers, recently addressed Goff's MVP prospects and what the media may see as a hurdle. Speaking to the press during Wednesday's practice ahead of the Lions' matchup with the Kansas City Chiefs, St. Brown sounded both confident and realistic. Jared's done this before, he's earned it with his leadership, with his preparation, with how he handles adversity, St. Brown said. But I also think he's got to show it in a way that the world can't ignore. In essence, St. Brown acknowledged that Goff's style, unflashy, methodical, low fanfares, may work against him in a media environment that often rewards showmanship and highlight real plays. St. Brown then turned attention to the bias he sees in how quarterbacks are evaluated. People love the big plays, the deep bombs, the highlight throws, he argued. Those things get your name out there. If your signature is precise timing or managing the offense, that doesn't always get the attention it deserves. He implied that such biases may partly explain why some efficient, consistent quarterbacks are underrated in the public eye. This tension, between consistency and spectacle, lies at the heart of Goff's case. He may lack the jaw-dropping deep throws of some peers, but what he brings instead is system mastery, calm leadership, and winning. Cowherd has repeatedly stressed that Hall of Fame voters value more than just arm strength or raw numbers. They look at the total contribution a player makes to winning and franchise transformation. Cowherd noted that Goff doesn't need to lead the league in passing yards or touchdown totals. What he does need is to stay among the upper tier, keep the Lions in contention, accumulate playoff success, and, crucially, add postseason milestones to his resume. If Goff can guide Detroit deep into the playoffs multiple times, perhaps even to a Super Bowl appearance or victory, that would go a long way toward cementing his candidacy. Cowherd also urged perspective on time. Goff is still in his prime years, and the window for stacking achievements is open. Now is the time to build momentum, grab the accolades, and compile a narrative. He underscored that Hall of Fame discussion should begin when it's earned, not on speculation, and that Goff is beginning to earn it. Still, Cowherd cautioned that success isn't a guarantee. He reminded viewers that many quarterbacks with strong resumes never make the Hall. The voters often prioritize peak seasons, those career-defining spikes that show a quarterback was among his generation's very best. Cowherd said Goff must deliver at least a few of those peaks to seal his legacy. In sum, Cowherd's stance is bold but measured. Yes, Jared Goff has a real shot at the Hall of Fame, but only if he continues on his upward arc, wins big games, and secures individual honors. He must make votes decisive, not speculative. St. Brown's remarks reinforce that Goff must perform in a way that transcends the box scores. He must make naming him an MVP look inevitable, not debatable. He must produce performances so convincing that voters can't ignore him. In a league that often rewards flash, Goff's quiet consistency must stand out in its own right. As Goff's career progresses, every playoff run, each stat sheet, and every signature victory will factor into whether Cowherd's prediction becomes reality. At present, Cowherd's verdict is clear. The path to Cooperstown for Jared Goff is open, but it must be walked with conviction, high achievement, and enough media evidence that his greatness becomes undeniable. Let me know if you'd like a version that's more condensed or tailored for a specific publication, e.g. for a sports blog or newspaper.